So a lot of people generally want to understand how others have completed their ACCA, and in this video, I'm going to share with you all my journey, right from how I came about ACCA, how did I complete it along with college and work, and how completing it early, by the age of 21, working in the Big Four and starting my own venture has helped me basically create a career which you wake up to excited every day. So let me get into it. As soon as my 12th grade was completed, I had my all options open in front of me. I had to decide which college and which course, like BCom or BBA or BAF or BFM. I had my father's business. My father's in the restaurant business. I had opportunities to go overseas and study undergraduation. I could study pretty much anything that I fancied. I had all the support from home. So what happened is, after my 12th, I landed up giving a lot of entrance exams because I myself was unclear. So I gave the hotel management exam called IHM because my father is in that space. Contemplated taking up CA because in commerce that was the best out of everything, and I had scored extremely well in accounts in my 12th. I had the option of waiting and eventually giving only MBA. There was a college which had its BSc in actuarial science, and I gave an entrance over there as well. So I did a variety of different things. But finally, I had a family friend who was studying ACCA in London and had just completed it, was planning on coming back to Mumbai, working in one of the Big Four. And he suggested, why don't you do ACCA? I'll coach you for the first few papers. At the end of the day, I landed up securing admission in HR in a course called BFM, and I took up ACCA and I just dove into it. Now, when I started ACCA, unlike today where it's well known and there are so many people who can guide you and counsel you, that time there wasn't much. So I basically just landed up doing each paper one after the other. The difference is because today everybody has a choice and there is a sequence which is recommended that you should do this paper first, then this paper. I just went ahead with the normal order. Also, back then the exams were held every 6 months, every June and December. I don't know why we just decided I'm going to give 3 papers every 6 months. No thought put behind it. Just let's, give the exams and pass. When I started studying for the first 3 papers with college. I don't know, because there was nobody around me to tell me how difficult or easy it is or how much time I should spend or what I should do. I just sort of took up everything together. I gave my first 2 attempts, which is the first 3 papers, which I cleared, then the next 3 papers, which again I cleared, and then I started working as well. So my schedule used to be morning college, then throughout the day, I spoke about this in another video. Throughout the day, I would go to my, what we call articleship or internship. I would go to the client's place. I would travel on different audits. And then I would come home in the night and then decide to study based on what the requirement was. I would always be clear about how much I had to study because I had to figure it out. How much of the syllabus is still pending, how many chapters are still pending, and how much time I would take to absorb it all. I could balance the studying for ACCA as well as the social life comfortably. And then I spent the rest of my 2 years in BFM following this routine. College, work the whole day, and then study or socialize or do both together. I landed up clearing the exams almost consistently every 6 months. I landed up gaining 2 years of experience in this, and I don't know, it never really bothered me about the fact that all these things were happening simultaneously, which today I've seen a lot of people complain about. A lot of people have concerns about that. How will I do so many things together? I remember towards the end, I had my last 2 papers of ACCA left, and the timeline was that I completed my graduation in April of this year. And then that June, I gave my last 2 papers of ACCA and I was done. And I remember telling myself that I took up ACCA when I was in college. So all our formal and mandatory education of school and college and anything you picked up in college, I was done with it all. And for the first time in my life, I had completed what I called my education, and anything I wanted was now going to be voluntary rather than mandatory. After that, I started looking for different profiles. I was interviewed at obviously Deloitte, KPMG. Deloitte, I was interviewed for due diligence. KPMG, I was interviewed for IFRS, which is accounting advisory. PwC, which I finally took the job, I was interviewed for transfer pricing, all because of my ACCA qualification. I started working at PwC. I completed a year and a half over there, and that in that process, I realized that if somebody like me with relatively less guidance was able to complete ACCA was placed in the Big Four at the same level as that of a CA, I realized that this was actually lacking in terms of knowledge in our student community, because I was the only one from many, many, many students who I knew who are taking these risks, taking these basic chances, and I was getting rewarded for it. So that's when we decided that, okay, this is required. Not only ACCA, but courses like CFA, CPA, CMA, all of these, people don't know as much as they should about it at the appropriate age. Most of us figure it out after a few years of experience, and you get exposure of the corporate world, that you realize that, oh, these things also have this kind of value. So if you were told early in college, we realized that a lot of students' lives could change, and that's how we eventually landed up starting Zell. This was the entire start to end, how I came across ACCA, how I landed up making the decision, how I managed to study along with college and work, and then what happened after ACCA. So yeah, I think this should cover what comments are about when they ask for this journey. I hope that it gives you an understanding about the fact that you need to not choose what kind of life you want and then choose a qualification, but flip it around. Understand the importance of certain qualifications, choose that, and then you make sure that you subject your entire studying lifespan within that in a way that you land up achieving this qualification. Beyond that, it's going to be completely on your effort, on your performance in the corporate world, what kind of jobs you get, what kind of companies pick you, what kind of profiles you get, what countries you work in. But the first step is not as hard as everybody says. Just pick it up, go ahead, and you'll figure the rest out.